Hello, everyone, and welcome to the NASA TechRise Aerostar launch. We are here in Hurley, South Dakota, as you can see, and we are joined by a number of people. I'm going to be your host and MC today. I'm Deanne Bell. I'm the founder and CEO of Future Engineers. We're joined by the Aerostar flight crew, a bunch of awesome Aerostar engineers who are going to walk us through what we're doing today. We're joined with representatives from NASA, both here in person and virtually at home. And of course, we're joined by all of you, all of the students. You know, on board this balloon, I should say the big star of the show is right behind me, if you can see it. There is the high-altitude balloon, there's the gondola, and all of your payloads are down at the bottom. You know, they're wrapped in silver foam, so they might not look so familiar to you. But we have 20 student payloads on board that I know you guys work so hard on building, and we're so excited to fly them. And of course, I am joined by Claire Bankson, who I know you all know and love. So Claire, come on and join me here.
Hi, everyone.
So we're super excited to be here. We've been doing integration the last few days, getting this gondola ready to fly. Claire has been here every step of the way, making sure every one of your payloads is mounted perfectly and securely. And you're actually in for a treat. We thought this was going to happen before live streams started, but we're actually about to go turn on all 20 payloads. First, we're going to make sure that we have data and power streaming to the entire unit, and then all 20 payloads are going to be turned on. So Claire, you want to just walk us through about what's going to happen?
Yeah, so we're going to send power to our telemetry unit, and then we're going to check inside, make sure we're receiving data, make sure all the data is getting stored. Once we do that, we're going to tape up our telemetry unit, tape up all that foam, make sure it stays nice and warm, and then we're going to send power to your payloads and make sure all your payloads come on. Once we do that, we're going to start inflating the balloon, and then we're going to lift off.
Awesome. So Claire's going to go ahead and head out and start working on that, and we're going to follow that action. So Claire, we've got all these fancy microphones. I know we've got a fancy live stream going on. I know we've had some buffering issues, so I just want to let you guys know if things go in and out, just hang with us. We are here. We are in a very rural location, but we're managing to get all of this live stream up to you live as it's happening. We're just going to keep it really raw, really real. And I just want to give a shout out first to all of the teams. I mentioned there's 20 payloads on board, and I'm not sure if you're all aware of where all of those teams are from. So on board today, we have Lake City High School. I should put my mic closer. We have Lake City High School from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. We've got the Vanguard School from Colorado Springs, Colorado. We've got Anderson Clark Magnet High School from La Crescenta, California. We've got Interlake High School from Bellevue, Washington. We've got Monte de Sol Charter School from Santa Fe, New Mexico. We've got Odyssey Academy from Galveston, Texas. We've got Blue Peak High School from Toole, Utah. We've got Advanced Technologies Academy from Las Vegas, Nevada. My papers are getting a mess. Give me 1 second here. All right. And then we've got Hiawatha Middle School from Hiawatha, Kansas. We've also got North Putnam Middle School tuning in from Rochdale, Indiana. We've got Flint Cultural Center Academy from Flint, Michigan. We've got Sachs Middle School from New Canaan, Connecticut. We've got Connecticut High School from Bohemia, New York. Then we've got Sewanaka High School tuning in from Floral Park, New York. And we've got Roberto Clemente Middle School tuning in from Germantown, Maryland. A few more here. We've got Louisville Male High School from Louisville, Kentucky. We've got Dixon Middle School from Dixon, North Carolina. And we've got Asheville High School from Asheville, North Carolina. Henniker Junior High School from Henniker, Alabama. And last but the longest name, Escuela Secundaria de la Universidad de Puerto Rico from San Juan, Puerto Rico. So thank you so much for joining us here today. We're excited for you to join in the action. And we're going to look over here. Are we ready to turn on payloads yet? We're still holding. We're holding a little bit. So while we're holding, we're going to actually bring on some NASA representatives to give a welcome. So I want to bring over, we've got 3 NASA representatives on site here today, and quite a few I know tuning in at home watching the excitement of this launch. So come on over. All right. So 3 of my favorite people on the whole planet are about to talk to you. So we have Liz DeVito, Lucas Moxie, and Paul DeLeon, all with NASA Flight Opportunities. And I'm going to get off camera and just let you guys give a nice welcome to our amazing students.
Thank you, Deanne. Hey, everybody. We are so excited to be here, as I'm sure all of you are. So as Deanne said, my name is Liz DeVito. And Lucas and Paul, you want to say hi for a second?
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Lucas Moxie, also with NASA Flight Opportunities.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Paul DeLeon from NASA Flight Opportunities, and I'm your campaign manager for this flight.
So we've been here, as Deanne said, all morning, just working hard to get things set up. We expect it's going to be a wonderful flight, and we know that this is the result of a lot of really hard work from you all. And so we just want to echo again how much we appreciate the effort and the energy each one of you and your school communities have put in to get to this exciting milestone today. Anything you want to say?
Yeah, just real quick. I had the privilege of being part of this since early on, and saw the journey of all the student teams, and it's just incredibly impressive to see the achievements and to see where all the student teams are today here. So congratulations, and yeah, we're really excited and really happy to be able to be part of this with you guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited to see your payloads go to the edge of space, and best wishes and great luck on your experiments.
All right,
Back
it
to you.
is time. It is time. It is time. So we're actually, so I know there's someone that wanted to be here that couldn't, Danielle McCulloch, and we have a pre-recorded interview with her, and we were about to throw to it, but it is time to turn on your payload. So we're going to pause on that, and then we'll come back and we'll go to that
Fabulous.
interview. All right, so you guys ready? It is time to send power and data to your payloads, and once we do that, then they're going to start balloon inflation. So your payloads are basically being turned on about 30 minutes prior to launch, and we're gonna get them going. Woohoo!
Based on the wind direction, we might move you guys. Based on the wind direction, if it's going like this way, then we might move you guys this way. So if the balloon launches that way, you have to move.
Woohoo!
Are you gonna want to keep video now?
Yeah. All right, so for the first time ever, we have turned on all 20 of your payloads because they have been prepped and waiting for flight. They are all green. Green means go. Green means we have power and we have data streaming to all of your payloads right now. We've been working hard over the next 2 days to make sure all of that integration is set up properly. So what's going to happen next is you might see some silver tape back there. All of that silver is important, right? Because it reflects the sun away, so it keeps your payloads nice and more climate controlled a bit. So there's a flap there that we use just to make sure we check those payloads. So they're going to button up those flaps and add the silver tape just to make sure everything's nice and secure before we get ready for launch. So Liz, you want to come back over here? So I know we mentioned earlier that we were hoping that Danielle McCulloch would love to have been here with us, but she couldn't be here with us today. But I know you had an opportunity to chat with her and do a little interview. And remind everyone who Danielle McCulloch is.
Yeah, so some of our student teams might have seen some, I know you all get some regular communications from those of us from the NASA Flight Opportunities team and also future engineers. So Danielle is our Flight Opportunities program manager, and like Deanne said, she couldn't be here with us in person in the flight, but I got to chat with her a little bit about TechRise. I know this is one of her favorite things that we do as a program, so yeah, I hope you all put a face to the name and get a sense of why this is important to Flight Opportunities.
All right, so we're going to roll the interview with Danielle.
Hi, TechRise teams. My name is Liz DeVito, and I am with the NASA Flight Opportunities program. I'm here with our program manager, Danielle McCulloch, and we're so excited to be with you all on this exciting day of our launch. I'm curious, if you think about TechRise with the Flight Opportunities program and NASA at large, what do you think our why is? Why do we do TechRise?
Yeah, that is a great question, and one that I am so excited about, because the why for me is that anybody can contribute to NASA's mission. And again, that whole journey to explore the world around us, as well as really understand and explore space. And so while we do have people who do this type of research as their careers, students are also part of that. And TechRise allows students to have that hands-on experience and really get a sense of the fact that they can do this research. Like, you can be part of this. We teach you how to do all of those different interactions, how to think about an experiment, something that you want to research, how to build a payload, how to do it quickly, how to deal with the failure that might come along the way and recover from that, and get it into a relevant test environment like a high altitude balloon. And so it's really exciting for us to see students have this opportunity so early on in their career, so that they really do have the confidence that this is something you can do, this is something you can contribute to.
Any last tidbits, takeaways, kind of big things you want the teams to keep in mind today and throughout the rest of their journeys?
Yeah, I think it's just really remember all the accomplishments that you've had. You know, today is really exciting because it is a launch day, and hopefully everything will go really smoothly. But even if it doesn't, again, whether it's the experiment, the launch, anything else here, like, this is kind of tricky stuff that we're doing here, and you are part of that. You're part of our NASA community. You really are contributing to this whole mission that we have to advance technology, advance our understanding of space and the world around us, and we're really pleased that you've chosen to join us. So just be really proud of your contributions and your accomplishments, and enjoy this moment, and just kind of take it as it comes, and yeah, just again, take it all in and be proud of yourselves.
Yeah, that should be about as loud as it gets.
All right, so the payloads are up and running. We're ready to go. Now I'm joined by Russ Vanderwerf. He's the VP of Stratospheric Solutions at Aerostar. And really, so it's an exciting moment. If you look over here, they just started inflation of the balloon, and that's going to take about 30 minutes, I'm told. But Russ, I'd love for you just to explain to our students what's going on here. Just talk to us a little bit about the balloon setup and what they're going to be watching over this next 30 minutes.
Yeah, certainly. So what we have here is one of our Cyclone zero pressure balloon systems. So it's a high altitude stratospheric balloon. This one is about 73,000 cubic feet by volume. So you're going to see it get, about 50 feet across when it's going up. And what's going to happen is we fill the lift gas in through a tube. So the main balloon shell gets inflated through this inflation tube. This is a zero pressure balloon, so it's actually got an opening at the bottom. And so as they fill the gas, they're going to get to a certain amount and release it. And when it gets up to float, up to a stable altitude, excess gas will get pushed out the bottom, and the balloon will just float smooth at altitude about 73,000 feet. So the team's out here. I think it should take about 30 minutes. So we got a helium trailer. We'll push the gas in. What you'll see is kind of a bubble, like a little limp bubble here up at the top. And the volume of the balloon, the size of the balloon, it actually gets a lot bigger as it climbs out because there's a lot less air pressure when it's up at altitude. So it'll take about 30 minutes to fill the main bubble. And you see this clamp down here, this orange clamp, that's called the peanut. And so what that is, that'll hold the system down to the ground until they're ready to release. So we'll have a final moment when it's fully inflated where we'll stand the balloon up, make sure everything's good, and then they'll pull that clamp loose and it starts to climb out about 1,000 feet per minute up to altitude. We should be up to floating altitude about an hour from after launch. So
okay, do you guys see that peanut? So what are you talking about, that orange little bag there, that's the peanut, and that's what holds it down to the ground. I should keep my microphone near my mouth when I talk, right? Okay, so that orange peanut's what's keeping it down to the ground. So that helium is going in right now. Let's talk a bit about the weather. I think we've all know, we talk about the balloon's gonna go where the wind blows. Yeah. And we have this little balloon here.
Yeah, it's called a pilot ball, so it's just what we use to gauge the wind. Yep.
Okay, so our pilot ball is very, very calm today.
Yeah, it's a beautiful morning for a launch. It's dead still right now. Of course, weather, this actually from a balloon operations perspective is the riskiest part from a weather perspective. Now, today I think we got great weather. I think we'll be in good shape. But if the winds shift at all, we may have to move around the launch equipment or even move ourselves out of the way. When that thing gets released, it's just going to go. Physics takes over, right? So we can't be in the climb out path. We can launch these things with a little bit of wind, so it's not like we need it to be completely dead calm. But obviously there are safety concerns and things like that. And then once it's up at altitude, it'll be riding the wind. So like you said, it does to some degree go where the wind takes it, although we can raise and lower the balloon to influence the direction of the balloon a little bit. With this kind of balloon system, actually to raise and lower the balloon, we actually have to vent gas. And so there's a limited amount of that we can do, but with some of our other systems, we can do quite a bit more steering where we have actually solar powered compressor that moves it around, stuff like that. So.
Awesome. Can you talk to us a bit about what the balloon is made of?
Yeah, I mean, it's just polyethylene, so it's a plastic formulation. I don't want to say undersell it, but it's basically a giant trash bag. But we put a lot of time and effort into how we design, assemble, and manufacture that giant trash bag.
Giant trash
It's the best one that there is, yep. And we do a lot of work on how we seal it together and how we attach things to it. And then actually the formulation of the plastic and how it's made. So there's only certain vendors that have the quality control to be able to do something that we would trust to actually fly. But yeah, it's a thin plastic film. If you go put your fingers on it, it'll feel like, you know, what you'd expect. So yeah.
Got it. Can you just talk us through a bit of a timeline of a typical balloon launch? Obviously, we have inflation, which we said is about 30 minutes. Then there's going to be that big moment where we launch and you're going to see your payloads ascend into the air. And I think you guys all know the flight profile for TechRise is we ascend up to 70,000 feet. And then when you're up there, it's 4 to 6 hours of float time at 70,000 feet. But talk to us a little bit about, obviously, like there's you know, a control room where you guys are tracking it, and then what happens after that? How do you go and recover it?
Yeah, and as everybody watching knows, the actual process and timeline starts a long time before launch. So we have to get everything ready. We carefully plan the flight. We carefully put all the equipment together. But when we get here, and usually for a couple days, and that's what this team has been doing, is integrating everything, putting it together, checking it out. On launch day, we typically show up a couple of hours before launch. So we get this tarp, the cart and everything laid out in position. And then, you know, we do a lot of checks. So we check all the health of the electronics, not just the payload, but actually the control electronics that'll be providing power, flying and operating the balloon. We fly safety equipment so that we can communicate with aircraft so they know where we are. So all that gets checked out to make sure it's working. That takes about an hour. We check out the payload, and then we get ready to what you've seen here. So we lay the balloon out onto the tarp. And then we fill it up with helium. And like you said, that will take about a half hour today for this size of balloon. The actual moment of launch will go pretty quick. So hopefully everybody's watching closely when that time comes. You know, the crew chief will let the balloon up and he'll call for a release. And after that, you know, the crew here on the ground is pretty much done. So they're packing up and cleaning up. Now we have a flight engineering team, a piloting team that's back in our mission operations center here that'll be watching the balloon the entire time it's flying. So we have a software system, what we call Thunderstorm, and it's like an interactive map. So you'll be able to watch where the balloon is, what the altitude is. We're getting real-time data back through satellite that will tell us, you know, the health of the system, the payloads, what the balloon is doing operationally, and we'll be watching and steering that balloon throughout the whole flight. And when it comes time to be done with the flight, obviously a really important thing is planning for a safe landing where we can get the payloads back and check everything out. So the flight engineering team will be planning and coordinating with you guys as the flight is coming to an end to select a site where we have a good flat open area to land the balloon, and we'll have a recovery team out ready to meet it at the ground. So the software system that's operating the balloon actually continuously monitoring and modeling all the winds between 70,000 feet in the ground, so we can predict the path it'll take in 3D on the descent and as it lands. And what we can do with that then is accurately position where we need to be to catch the thing when it's done.
Yeah, they were saying yesterday that when it comes down, because it's so calm today, there's a pretty good chance that they'll be there, right there, watching it come down.
I think so, yep.
And then typically the balloon lands, it kind of tips, and it might drag a little bit until you untether the balloon, correct?
Right. So once it lands, we fire a parachute release. So the thing comes down on a parachute. If there's any crosswind or anything, it might tip over, but it shouldn't drag significantly because it should detect when it lands and then cut free on that parachute.
Okay.
Obviously, that's a safety critical system. So you want to err on the side of releasing a little bit late after it's landed, you know, obviously, rather than in the air. But we will. We'll cut it loose. We'll cut the parachute loose. We'll go pick up the parachute, the balloon, and the payload and bring it back. And you guys can look at your stuff and see how it did. So.
Yeah, they told me yesterday that we can kind of follow along. So I'm hoping to be there for the moment that it drops as well.
Awesome.
I know we won't be live streaming that moment, but we're going to capture it on film. Can you chat with me? Oh, look at it. It's getting huge. I love it. I turned my back for 1 minute, and there's a big high-altitude balloon behind me. So can we talk a little bit about the gondola itself? So there's a cart over there. You guys kind of see that little crane arm? So that's not going to fly. That cart is actually just holding the gondola in place. The gondola is everything you see. That's kind of the tower, like the layer cake of silver that you see over there. And so I want to chat a little bit. So if you look at that layer cake, that bottom layer is your payloads, right? Those are all your student payloads. There's 5 on the side, and they're all wrapped up. But above that is the telemetry unit where we're where we have that telemetry unit. But that big towel stack in the middle, what is that? Can you chat with us a little bit about that?
Yep. So that's what we call our flight control unit. So that's a package that we've flown probably over 500 times now. And it has all the stuff that you need to safely operate and keep things running in the stratosphere. So inside of that box, there's a flight computer. The flight computer is doing navigational planning. It's controlling all the equipment on board. It's talking to all the other systems. There's a transponder that's beaconing out where we're at, other aviation assets. That way the FAA knows where we are, other aircraft know where we are. There's communication equipment, so that's the telemetry equipment that we talk up through satellite to get the data back down. And then down the middle of that silver box that's stacked there is a big stack of batteries. So that's what's powering everything. And the batteries are actually, you know, it's a little bit of a challenge to build batteries for the stratosphere. It gets really cold up there, and then it takes in a lot of heat during the day.
Yeah.
You don't have much air pressure, so that's
You
a
guys know
specially
about that,
designed
right?
system. Yeah. So
Awesome. Well, I think we're just gonna take a pause and not talk while you just watch the beauty of this balloon inflating. So, Russ, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah,
We might have some more
pleasure.
questions a little bit later, but love
good.
what Aerostar does, and we're excited to be here for this big launch day.
all right.
So enjoy, watch the inflation for a bit. All right, I am back with NASA TechRise Advisor Extraordinaire, Claire Bankson. So a lot has happened since the day that you shipped off your payloads to us, and we thought we'd just take a moment to talk about from that moment of shipping to now what's happened. So obviously first you guys shipped your payloads to us, and we did payload checkouts, and we weighed them, and made sure some things didn't wiggle loose and needed to, do a few minor fixes. But then we ended up mounting them and bringing them out here. So Claire, why don't you chat a little bit about that process of mounting them, getting them out here, and the integration we've been doing the last 2 days?
Yeah, so you can see where they sit in the gondola right there. We gave each payload a seating assignment. And then we took your insulation cutout requests and we cut out the appropriate holes and squares and whatever you needed for your experiment to work in our foam. So we mounted the payload in the gondola, put the foam on top of it, and then we put those sidecars that you can see onto Aerostar's gondola. And then that was shipped out here, and then we've run some tests, made sure everything powers on correctly, and now we're ready to launch.
So sidecars is the kind of term we invented for. There's 4 sides of the gondola, and there's five payloads on each side. So each one is a sidecar. We have sidecar A, B, C, and D.
Yep.
And so over the last 2 days, we basically got in here, and the sidecars were all in a crate. And so we took them out of the crate and assembled them. Actually, that happened on Friday. Actually, I believe.
On Friday.
But then under that gondola, there's a telemetry unit, which is basically taking the data and sending it out to your payloads, and there's power boards on each sidecar as well. So there was just a lot of just integration. The term integration, let's talk about that. In the engineering
a lot of
world.
mounting. A lot of mounting, a lot of cables. So every single one of your payloads needs a cable to send it data and power. So we have to cable every single thing, and then we have to cable the power boards, cable the telemetry unit. So there's a lot of plugging in, a lot of securing, a lot of taping. You can see this thing is covered in what we call space tape. That's foil tape that we typically use in the aerospace industry to tape foam down, that kind of thing. So got everything all taped up, insulated, secured.
Yeah. And there's a lot of cable management. It sounds crazy, but there's a lot of cables, and you want to make sure those cables don't get jiggled loose or they don't get snagged on something. So there's a lot of ties all around just to make sure those cables aren't being pulled too tight. Some strain relief, all
we
that
don't want to
kind of
yank
good
anything
stuff.
out in flight.
Yeah, we don't want anything to be yanked. No yanking.
Nope.
So we're getting close. We're getting close. I think we're minutes away from launching. When this gets inflated, we won't really get to do a countdown. It's when it's ready to go, it's gonna start going.
Yep.
So we're gonna stand down here for a minute, and we're gonna let this thing inflate. But I also just want to give a huge shout out to Claire Bankson. I know she has worked with each of you to learn how to code, to solder, to work with an M4, to integrate with this vehicle. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you for everything you do for these teams.
And thank you for making this happen. This is an incredible program.
Yes.
I'm so excited.
And thank you, it's like a love fest. Thank you. Obviously, thank you NASA for an entire program and everything. But thank you to the students most of all for all your blood, sweat, and tears to bring these payloads to life. And this moment is almost here where they're going to take flight. So let's watch the balloon, and it's almost time. All right, the moment is almost here. Any minute now, this balloon is going to take off. I also just want to mention that you're welcome to put in your questions in the question and answer section. After the launch, we're going to be taking all of your questions. We're going to have Russ here and others. We're going to take those questions. But right now, yeah, get the popcorn. The show is about to start. We're going to go over here on the sidelines, and we're going to watch this launch happen. All right, we're less than 1 minute out. all the joy right now. Are we go? All right. So there it is. We did it! Oh my gosh, that's amazing. All right. So many emotions right now and everything. How are you guys feeling? Say some words. I don't know. I'm just gonna pass it around. Lucas, let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. No, just an incredible moment, of course. Very proud of the TechRise teams, of course. Incredible achievement. The future engineers support as well. Incredible effort to getting everything where we are. The Aerostar team as well. And everybody in NASA and Flight Opportunities involved. I think everyone, there was a lot of work that went into this, but just amazing, just really to see it all come together. Just hard to describe, I don't know.
We are so proud of you guys for doing this. I mean, incredible. Your experiments that you guys built are way up there right now, and they're going to stay up there for the next 4 to 6 hours while you guys collect all kinds of data. You do all kinds of experiments. You guys built that. You guys did that. We are so proud of you.
You just gave me goosebumps. It's crazy. I know they're like autonomously operating, just
Yeah, they're just going, running motors, taking data.
I think one of the
Incredible.
first things when we did TechRise, people were like, is there going to be someone up there operating my experiment?
No.
That's you guys. That's your technology. That's your brain. That's your ingenuity, all up there in the stratosphere, heading up to the stratosphere right now. It's amazing. I'm just talking off mic. Yeah, do you even hear me? This is me usually having a lavalier and not needing to track a microphone. Okay. My gosh, what emotions are you feeling right now, Liz?
Do you know what I'm thinking about? I'm just thinking about how this balloon represents like the time and the energy that balloon represents. And I mean, think about like all of the teams sitting there watching right now. Think about what you sunk into this from your submission, your ideation, your submission, and then your build and your teamwork and your challenges and your celebrations. And I mean, just the effort that went into this from so many different people. And then in seconds, it's the most thrilling seconds of launch. I mean, it's remarkable. And obviously we have this, these several hours of float time. And so I just, I don't know, just thinking about like this is not just hardware, right? Like this is learning and energy and heart and a lot of passion. And so that's what I'm thinking about.
And a lot of anxiousness. I bet you're all like, is it working right now? Is my payload doing what it was supposed to do right now?
Well, listen, this is an important part of this, right? I mean, because we fly things not because we think it'll work perfectly. We fly things for the see what happens part of this. I mean, that's like very much in the spirit of what we're doing here.
And just to add on to that, this is what science and engineering is all about. And researchers and from universities and such do the same thing, just like what the students are doing right now. So it's I think it's an incredible journey and achievement that the students have, the student teams have made. It's they really have put on full on the engineering hats and hit it out of the park for sure.
We are so proud of you, is what we're saying. So proud of you. Paul, I wasn't sure before this launch if I was going to cry or not. I did not shed a tear. That's kind of become the TechRise, like the TechRise gamble or the betting pool. Will Deanne cry? I did not cry today. But Paul is our veteran that has seen so many launches. Just talk to us about, everyone's a little different, right? Everyone's unique.
Every launch is different. This is very special because we have a group of student teams that worked hard to get their payloads, their science, at the edge of space. It's going to reach an altitude about 73,000 feet, and you're going to be collecting data. And I'm really looking forward to see the results. And I hope this experience inspires all of you to follow a technical career. Like if I did it and we did it, you guys can do it. So congratulations and good luck in your future.
Amazing. So now it's question and answer time from our students. I think we want to bring Russ back out here. Russ, come on out. While Russ is coming out, we got something that wasn't a Q&A. We got hey, can you give a shout out to our teacher, Jack Chen, because it was his birthday yesterday? So because we can, because we're that raw and that real, shout out to Jack Chen. Happy birthday. happy birthday. Woohoo! It's a great way to celebrate a birthday. So we have a number of questions that have come in from the students. I think one question that came in was about the conditions out here today. I know we've read about like wildfires in Canada and things like that. People were like, is it clear? Is it hazy? What are the conditions like? And I know their payloads are inspecting a lot of the conditions through their sensors. But why don't you give us
Yeah, I mean,
a meteorology report?
I'm not a meteorologist, but I mean, we couldn't have a better day for a launch. We had a little bit of fog this morning, but it's mostly burned out. We got mostly clear skies, a little bit of haze, and the winds are dead still, which is great from a launch and launch safety and success perspective. We did have some of that smoke come through here a few weeks ago. It was pretty thick, and they moved out to the east now. But yeah, it's a beautiful South Dakota summer. It's beautiful here, several months of the year. So
yeah,
and then the winter happens. But what do you do?
It's pretty clear. I'd say I can see farm fields as far as I can see. So
Yep.
So good clear weather today. I'd love to ask a little bit more about Aerostar, and if we have any questions that come in from NASA, you guys can hang out here. If you want to hang out on the sidelines, you can. But I have a question about Aerostar. I'd love to just know a little bit more about how many balloons a year you guys fly typically.
Yeah, so at Aerostar, we've been building and flying stratospheric balloons since 1956. So we've done a lot of balloon launches, probably over 10,000 in our history. Right now, we're probably doing 1 to 200 a year across different programs and projects. And some of them are the zero pressure balloons like this one. We have a super pressure system called Thunderhead. We work a lot with NASA and other government entities. We're working on wildfire monitoring is actually something we're working on. We're working on climate monitoring. We're working on scientific stuff. So a lot of cool different stuff we do every year. Yeah.
All right. And you guys have been launching balloons quite some time, right?
Yeah, yep. So we actually were founded as a stratospheric balloon company 65 plus years ago, and we've been doing it ever
65
since.
years
Yeah.
ago?
Yep. Right here
Wow.
in South Dakota. So
It looked just like this, didn't it?
yeah. Well, South Dakota's looked just like this for quite a while, but
Balloons are a
we've
little
done
different.
we've done a lot with the technology. I think originally it was more of a just you release it, it floats, and like what we're doing today, where it's more of an experiment type thing. But now we've developed a lot of stuff with the machine learning, better batteries, better solar panels. We can do navigation by moving altitudes, and so there are a lot of cool new things we can do with balloons that we couldn't do even 10 or 20 years ago, much less 65 years ago. Yeah.
Got it. I'm going to ask this. You guys also have done balloons for the Macy's Day Parade. I know it's like a weird fun fact and not super relevant to today, but you guys
we
have
built
made balloons of all
about
different shapes
100
and
of
size.
the large character balloons from the 80s all the way through to a few years ago. So
Got it.
we've done that. We've done tethered like blimp type things. We've done all kinds of things over our history, but we're really seeing the growth and interest in this stratospheric stuff now. And again, just those enabling technologies, the things we can do scientifically, navigationally. This is really what our core balloon business is these days. So.
Yeah, so why the stratosphere? Obviously, it's in your title. You're the VP of Stratospheric Solutions.
Whatever that means. So
what benefit do you think the stratosphere provides in terms of research?
Yeah. So the stratosphere is cool. It's kind of the last unexploited region of the atmosphere. We've done space stuff, and we know how to do that. We're getting really good at it. Aircraft have obviously been around doing a lot of things for 100 years. The stratosphere's been pretty limited. We've been floating balloons, like I said, since the 50s, and even people before that, back to the 30s and the 20s. But again, those technology and advancements. So, you can imagine the difference between just letting something go and letting it float. Now that we can steer it, put it where we want it, there's all kinds of cool stuff we can do. So we're looking at doing like disaster response. So we worked with Google on a project called Loon for about 10 years where they were providing cellular service from these balloons. And after Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, they had balloons over that area providing cellular coverage before that infrastructure could be reestablished. And we're trying to turn that into a more common thing. So we're looking at talking to different government groups that work with emergencies and disasters, and we're actually doing another flight with these NASA folks later this summer and with U.S. Forest Service to do wildfire monitoring and provide cellular coverage to handsets for firefighters that are out there in the mountains where there may not be good coverage. And that's just an example of, if your balloon is just floating, that's one thing, but if I can put it where the firefighters are, that makes a huge difference. So we're going to put infrared camera on the balloon so they can see the front of the fire and hopefully, be able to save lives and change the course of what's happening there. So, again, those enabling technologies, the navigation, the better batteries, solar panels, and then the machine learning type stuff that we've put into modeling the wind so we can do that navigation by changing altitudes. It's really opened up a lot of new applications in the stratosphere, and we'll see others follow. There's people working on propelled airships, blimps. There's people working on solar UAVs, gliders up there that are going to go up there and operate on electric battery power, and it's pretty cool. It's opened up a whole new realm of stuff we can do. So.
Awesome. So I want to talk a little bit about this balloon itself. So when you guys make these balloons, is it like you have a factory and you're just cranking out like a million balloons, or is it every balloon is unique, every balloon is custom?
Not a million. Maybe we'll get there someday. I won't complain if we do. But yeah, no, we actually have 2 factories where we make high-altitude balloons. So there's one here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, which is near where we are right now. And then there's one in Sulphur Springs, Texas, which is about 100 miles east of Dallas. So this balloon was actually made down in our Texas plant.
Okay.
That's where we make our zero pressure balloons. And what they do down there is they have different sizes for different applications. So this balloon is relatively a small balloon. Look pretty big on the camera, but you know, for what we build, and when we work with NASA, for example, you know, their standard large balloon launches they're carrying 6,000 pounds to 140,000 feet. So that balloon is 800 feet across. You could fit the Astrodome inside the balloon when it's inflated. That's a really big balloon.
The Astrodome inside
it's
the balloon.
huge. It's 60 million cubic feet by volume. So we build all shapes and sizes. So a little bigger than this one. At the same time, you know, we build smaller ones for light payloads and less expensive missions. So anything up and down from there. One cool thing about Aerostar, and one of the reasons I like working here, having an engineering background, is we kind of do everything in-house. So we build the balloons, we seal them together, we put them together, we sew the parachutes, we build all the electronics that you saw, assemble those in our plants, and we get to work on all the parts of that. So from an engineering career perspective, you know, if you're not sure what you're interested in, it's cool to work at a place where you kind of do it all the disciplines. So.
Awesome, awesome. And so for perspective, I think yesterday they said the total weigh-in is about 85 kilograms of this balloon.
Yep.
So just to give context to the to the huge one you're talking about.
Thousands of kilograms. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
But it is important to note. I mean, you saw when it went up, it wasn't fully inflated. I mean, it looked a little saggy, a little bit, and that's by design, right? So when it goes up there, it expands.
There's less air pressure at altitude, so that same amount of helium will fill a much larger volume when it gets up to float altitude at 70,000 feet. Yep.
Right. Awesome. So I have more questions about stratospheric balloons, but Liz, can you help me out? Because we'd love to take any of your questions that we have from the audience. Can you pull up the question and answer sheet and tell me if there's any new questions that have come in? And I'm going to keep cruising on some of the questions I have here that I have pre-prepared, guys. Okay, so we talked about how many balloons Aerostar flies annually. Can people ride? Okay, so we talked about this. There's obviously no one riding in this stratospheric balloon. But
I hope not.
Aerostar ever flown balloons where people ride in them, or is that a totally separate thing? Is that just like a tourist thing?
Yeah, no. So there are companies out there that are taking kind of the space tourism aspect on balloons. That's not a business that we're currently in, but it is something that's feasible. You know, earlier in our history, really back in the 50s and stuff, when this all started, it was a lot of testing as the space program was spinning up. And so testing space technologies from balloons is really how a lot of our business got started. And in those early years, there were a number of missions. If you go look at Wikipedia, Project Excelsior, Project Manhigh, there were some test pilots that were really brave that got on these things, and they'd put these things up at 100,000 feet. They'd jump off with a parachute. And some of the questions were, you know, aircraft were starting to go higher. You need to figure out, what if we have to abort a space mission? What can happen? And nobody had ever done that, right? What happens when you fall from the sky at 100,000 feet? So we definitely did that and built those. We've built a number of balloons that people have jumped off of, you know, and done those kind of things. And actually, there's been several records, you know, set in the last 60 years for high altitude jumps. And so that's all a thing. Space tourism is definitely a thing. You know, if you can lift thousands of kilograms, you can obviously carry people to space. And the technology it's fairly straightforward and it's very safe. And so it is a good option for that. And obviously much lower cost than putting a rocket up.
Right.
So that is definitely something people are looking to do.
And then obviously we all know about weather balloons as well. Can you compare and contrast a weather balloon to, you know, your stratospheric balloons?
Yeah, so the most common weather balloons, what they call radiosondes, and that's a small latex balloon. It might be 2 or 3 feet in diameter. And the idea of those balloons, they actually get let go, they rise up to a certain altitude, and then they just pop. And then the parachute and the payload, which is usually small, you know, a few kilograms, comes back down to the ground. And that's done all over the world multiple times a day. So when you go look at the weather forecast at night, and you know how they build those numerical models that tell you if it's going to storm tonight is from the data that's collected from those weather balloons that are launched. And so those are the inputs that initialize the model, if you will. Another thing that we don't actually do, because they're smaller than most of what we do, but that's done all over the world. And you also see a lot of hobbyists and amateur type people who put small experiments onto balloons like that and get them up to near space, you know, in the same way we're doing with this.
Amazing. I think my last question for you is just, what's one of your favorite things about what you do here And do you have any encouraging words for students at home that are, having interest in the careers of science and technology and engineering?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've had a good career in science, technology, and engineering, so I would definitely advocate, much like Paul said, I think it's a great field to get into. It's always growing. Working here at Aerostar, the coolest thing about what we do, in my opinion, is we're constantly trying to solve problems that no one solved before. So, there's a lot of good engineering jobs. We need engineers to build houses and roads and those things, and I certainly appreciate that. I wouldn't have a house. I need a house. But at the same time, like, comparing that to what we do, how do we steer a balloon around at 80,000 feet? There's nowhere to go look and say, how has someone done that? I mean, there's no playbook, there's no textbook, and so it's right on that frontier of research and engineering where it's like, I don't know, we'll just have to try something, we'll see how it works, and if it doesn't work, we'll try again. So that's what I enjoy. I enjoy the newness, I enjoy the kind of being at the edge of it, and like I said, I enjoy the fact that it ties together aerospace and mechanical, electrical, and software, and all the different engineering disciplines to kind of make a whole working system. So.
Love hearing that, and I know that's what you guys did every day working on your payloads, is you put in an idea as a proposal, and you're like, I don't know if this has ever been done before, but we're going to figure it out. We're going to use our engineering know-how to ask the right questions, find the right answers, and turn that idea into reality. And reality is now, reality is here, reality is up in the stratosphere. So I'm going to go ahead and bring back, all of our team members here. It takes a team to do this, and I think we all know it. The team starts with you guys, with your brilliant ideas, submitting those proposals, building these experiments, our amazing team of TechRise advisors, the amazing staff at Future Engineers, of course, NASA Flight Opportunities, and you guys talk every day about, just the power of iteration, the power of innovation, and how important it is to get students, in 6th to 12th grade doing that. Where's Claire? Where are you? You coming on? I don't know. She's taking a break.
She's chasing
like,
the balloon. She's off after
She's napping. She's been working so hard. So she'll come back out here. I don't know if we have any other questions that we wanted to address. Otherwise, I think we're going to wrap up here and just say some parting words. Yeah? Okay. All right. So is there anyone else that wants to come on? I know the whole flight crew is here. I would say, come on. But they're out chasing the balloon. I think they're tracking it and watching where that balloon's going, which is our next steps. And like I said, we're going to be joining that crew to go and recover this team. But this has been a phenomenal, phenomenal day. I want to say thank you to Russ and thank you to Aerostar for being here and launching all these student payloads. Thank you to all of our students. Thank you to NASA Flight Opportunities. You guys are the best. I want to have you guys say some final words, and we're going to wrap up this live stream.
I just feel like I want to keep saying thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you,
It's exciting.
But I think maybe just to close out, we try to say this in a lot of different forms, right? But once again, we do not do flight tests because we expect everything to work perfectly, right? So this has been a hugely exciting milestone for all of our student teams, and we know that it doesn't stop here, right? You all are going to see what happens with your experiments, and that's why we're testing. And so I just encourage our students to keep an open mind when they're thinking about what kind of data that they're getting back, right? There might be some things that are unexpected, some things that you didn't anticipate, and you might feel various ways about what you get back, but that's the whole point, right? And so again, right now, enjoy the fact that you've made it to this really, really thrilling milestone, and we're incredibly proud of you and so thrilled that you're a part of this. Anything else?
Yeah, just kind of want to reiterate that this is just the beginning of this incredible journey that all of you, all the teams have embarked on. We've been incredibly excited and honored to be able to support the incredible ingenuity and curiosity from all the students, and we are really excited to really happy to see the incredible achievements from today, and looking forward to seeing the results that you get. And as Liz was mentioning, it's all about learning, and some things will work perfectly, others maybe have a little bit of bumpy flight, which is okay. It's all part of the journey of discovery and curiosity, and I don't think there's a better way to be able to support and foster that than engaging you guys in this process. So congrats again, and we're really, really excited to hear more and see how everything progresses.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. Claire's back. We got her back. So the balloon is off. The next steps are we're going to recover it, and then once that recovery happens, those payloads are going back in the mail to you, and the exciting next step of analyzing that data happens. And just like they said, you know, there could be some excitement, there could be some disappointment, but either way, there is so much learning, and we know that has happened every step of the way. So at this point, I think we are going to wrap up this live stream. Claire, you didn't get to say any final words. You want to say some final words?
We are so proud of you guys, and I am so excited to see where you guys go after this. Really, I mean, you guys are incredible. We are so inspired by you, and we'll see you soon.
All right, so that is it. Let's all wave goodbye. Thank you so much. Amazing job today. We're so proud of you, and we hope to see you at the next launch.